Verhoeven is a Dutch filmmaker born in 1938. He had his first success as a director in 1969 with a 13-part black and white Dutch series Floris, which was the starting point of a long-standing collaboration with the Dutch actor Rutger Hauer. Verhoeven overdrew the budget by the factor of 3 to over 1 million guilders, the equivalent of $500,000. The 30-minute episodes of the most expensive Dutch TV production to date are about a knight who returns home after a trip around the world to find his castle stolen, so he tries to retrieve it in a very entertaining way. Some unused ideas appear 1985 in Flesh and Blood, which marks, after several joint projects between Hauer and Verhoeven after a dispute, the end of their cooperation. The series got 1975 also with Rutger Hauer under different direction a 19-part color German remake, Floris of Rosemund. It puts the focus more on the gags and contains 2 special episodes, which stayed unreleased in the original, The Architect and The Court. Old and new series were successful with audiences and critics, exactly the opposite as the cinema remake of 2004, this time without Hauer or Verhoeven. The story is about the son of Floris. In 1971, the financially successful Dutch erotic comedy Business is Business was based on 2 books by the Dutch author Albert Moll, also appearing in a short cameo. The very well cast, excellently shot, very entertaining comedy is about the lives of 2 prostitutes and the strange and funny preferences of some of their customers. It also marks the beginning of Verhoeven's collaboration with cinematographer Jan de Bont, who provides her the remarkable images. This ends after several projects in 1992 with Basic Instinct, because de Bont himself switched to directing in 1994 with Speed. More about that in the same named Jan de Bont special. 1973, Verhoeven serves up the Dutch erotic drama Turkish Delay, based on Jan Wolker's 1969 same-named Dutch bestseller. The ingenious movie is about the sculptor Eric, a kind of rebel whose entire life seems to be directed against yes-man, mediocrity and society conventions, and his turbulent and tragic relationship to Olga, which comes from a middle-class family. Turkish Delay is an emotional firework of what the fuck, and crazy scenes which feel absolutely believable thanks to the perfect cast. It is the most successful Dutch movie of all time and got an Oscar nomination as Best Foreign Language Film. Of course, he couldn't take the Golden Bolt hat home, after all he's not about World War II, but was awarded at the Dutch Film Festival in 2000 with the title of Best Dutch Movie of the Century. With the Golden Calf. Huh? What?
You and your board are idolaters.
Yeah, it's really true, no joke. A golden calf. Seems like someone smoked the 10 Commandments again instead of reading them.
Has given unto you these 15.
Wir kiffen.
10 commandments for all to obey.
Wir kiffen.
Katie Tibel from 1975 is a drama based on the memoirs of Nell Duff from the turn of the century. The till then most expensive Dutch movie is about the eventful life of the title character, which moves to Amsterdam with her poor family in 1881 and quickly realizes that her body is her only asset. For Verhoeven standards, the realization of the rather simple plot is unusually common. Translated, it's boring. In 1977, Soldier of Orange is based on Eric Hasselhoff-Rolf Zehmer's autobiographical 1970 novel, re-released in 1971 under the later used film title. The Belgian-Dutch epic drama takes place during German-occupied Dutch in World War II and deals in a very entertaining way with the fate of a group of students and their decision-making to resist in the underground, to escape to Britain or to come to terms with the new regime. It was once again the till then most expensive Dutch film. The TV movie All Things Pass was made in 1979 as an epilogue to The Soldier of Orange, but premiered in 1981. The interesting revenge drama is about former resistance fighters who who after 35 years discover by chance a former Dutch SS officer who shot their friend during the occupation and to whom they had sworn eternal revenge. In 1980 the Dutch romantic sports drama Spetters, which means splashes or good-looking boy or girl, splashed on screens. Here in Germany as usual with a stupid second title which reads Badass and Romantic. Three friends from the working class are successfully seduced by a pretty young woman because she also dreams of success and social advancement, which she wants to achieve with one of the three. In the end, reality catches up with all four of them. Spetters has an interesting story, is well cast and entertainingly staged, but also from my point of view, two completely unnecessary violent gay sex scenes, normally only found in hardcore flicks. The movie was a financial success, but there were also protests about how Verhoeven portrays gays, Christians, the police and the press. This led to his decision to leave Dutch to work in the US after his next project. 1983, the fourth man fears for his life in the Dutch suspense thriller after Gerard Reeves' same-named novel from 1981.
Can I take my humble hands and make myself whole? Can I take my humble hands and make myself whole?
The title refers to the lead who seems to be seduced by a black widow after she got probably rid of her first three husbands. The visually stunning, extremely exciting paranoia roller coaster has all the typical elements Verhoeven is known for: sex, violence and gore. The bisexual main character and the black widow's theme were, according to Verhoeven, the spiritual prequel to his later Basic Instinct. The movie almost floods the viewer with Catholic symbolism, which comes off thanks to its obviousness more like satire. It was a decent international success, drew back then my attention to Verhoeven and is still my personal favorite among his European movies.
A bang bang.
In 1985, Flesh and Blood played in empty theaters. The Dutch-US-Spanish production is about mercenaries who are murdering and plundering in the late medieval times. On paper, Flesh and Blood seemed almost perfect to me at that time. Director Paul Verhoeven, camera Jan de Bont, lead Rutger Hauer, music by Basil Polidorus. Also, a realistic take on the medieval times sounded okay. Nevertheless, the movie didn't impress me at all, and the explanation can be found in the script. The original story was centered around the two mercenaries Hawkwood and Martin. However, since the movie was co-financed by Orion, they insisted on putting the female love interest character Agnes in between them, which from my point of view now comes across as an illogical, annoying as fuck love triangle relationship. Rutger Hauer was so dissatisfied with the movie that he never worked with Verhoeven again. Audiences were not really interested either, and at $6.5 million production costs he only made $100,000 in the US back and was a gigantic flop. For RoboCop, Total Recall, Starship Troopers and Hollow Man, see the same named rare views and special. In 1992, the US-French erotic thriller Basic Instinct showed some balls. Kind of. A bisexual novelist is suspected of killing former lovers with an ice pick, similar to the description in her book. The fact that the investigating cop begins an affair with her complicates the situation. The quite entertaining spiritual child of the fourth man is well cast, beautifully shot and throughout excitingly staged. The without slip interrogation scene attained cult status at that time. It was a big financial success and put Sharon Stone on the map. Compared to other Verhoeven movies, this one seems nowadays rather tame, and the characters mostly act illogically in a more than constructed plot. In 2006, it got a boring, uninteresting sequel under different direction. In fact, Sharon Stone made sure through a lawsuit that this thing was even made, as a result of the out-of-court settlement.
So don't let it end you on my destiny.
Apparently the production was stopped in 2001, but Stone insisted on her pay-or-play contract, which would have granted her $14 million even if the project is cancelled. This probably explains the insane production costs of $70 million, 20 more than part 1, and the result that comes across like the TV movie of the week, which couldn't even pull back $40 million worldwide, but bring in a lot of well-deserved raises.
I can't take my hands off you, baby. I can't get enough of your love.
In 1995, Showgirls became unintentionally a comedy. The dance drama is about an attractive woman which comes to Las Vegas to make a dancing career. The sterile, soulless stereotype show is not as provocative as it would like to be. The final, with the stupid as fuck, completely out of place violence, doesn't make any sense at all and comes off like begging for attention. The $45 million cucumber couldn't even make its budget back worldwide and was rightly a big box office bomb, but got a new life on video where it made more than $100 million over the years. It is the frontrunner in the Razzie nominations, and Paul Verhoeven became the first director ever to claim his award in person. Respect, bro.
Thank you very much. The worst thing happened to me today. I got 7 of the worst awards. And I'm very happy because it was much better, much more fun than reading the reviews in September. Thank you so much.
In 2011 there was an alleged sequel, even with an actress from the original, but it looks more like an April Fool's joke, without a budget or real actors, not even on home video level. This piece of shit would have to be 100 times better to even be considered for a Razzie. The drama Black Book from 2006 was another movie about the occupation time in World War II, because for sure there can't be enough of them. Verhoeven's first Dutch project after his Hollywood trip is about a resistance fighter who falls in love with the SS man she was assigned to. After surviving the occupation, she funds a settlement in the apartheid state of Israel on stolen Palestinian land. And this time she herself is one of the occupiers and land robbers, which is supposed to be sold here like a happy end, but sure not for the occupied Palestinians. The typical Oscar bait has an exciting story and, compared to other war movies, a much more differentiated depiction of the characters, especially the German ones. It was once again the most expensive Dutch production to date, financially successful at the box office, received mostly positive reviews, several awards, and was even voted from Who Cares as the best Dutch film period. To me personally, as someone with Palestinian background, I understandably don't give a fuck. Because at this very moment an even worse mass murderer / genocide is carried out against us by these self-proclaimed permanent victims, often deliberately misrepresented in movies like here as peaceful arrivals in the Holy Land, without mentioning that this land was and is stolen from Palestinians, like myself. Of course deliberately hushed up by the lying Western media, which even dares to call this children-murdering abomination of an apartheid state the only democracy in the Middle East. What a joke! In 2012, Twigged is a nearly 1-hour project. As a kind of talent search, audiences brought in ideas which were then implemented in the final product by professional director Verhoeven. The resulting quite entertaining drama comedy is about a 50th birthday and unexpected events that follow.
You're my river running high, run deep, run wide. I'll follow you deep sea, baby. I'll follow you. I'll follow you, dog doom, honey.
In 2016, the French-German erotic thriller Elle, French for She, is based on Philippe Dijon's 2012 novel O. It is about a successful and self-confident businesswoman which gets attacked and violated in her home by a masked man. As the daughter of a well-known mass murderer, she avoids going to the police. It turns out that the intruder, who continues to harass her, is a man she herself desires, and an erotic roleplay develops between the two. The movie, with costs of $9 million, only made $12 million back, which is no hit by any interpretation. On the other hand, it was nominated for about 90 awards and won almost half of them, received mostly extremely positive reviews, and is also quite entertaining, considering the serious topic and the unpleasant rape scenes. In 2021, the French drama Benedetta was based on Judith Cora Brown's 1986 biography with the short and catchy title Immodest Acts: The Life of a Lesbian Nun in Renaissance Italy. In the days of the plague in the 17th century Tuscany, Benedetta enters a convent as a novice. At a young age, she is able to perform miracles and soon rises to abbess as a result, constantly accompanied by disturbing religious and erotic visions. She develops a secret romantic love affair with another nun, which eventually catches the attention of the Inquisition. There is no reliable data about costs and box office takings. The very well-made movie, in which it is never really clear until the end how much of the miracles is real, coincidental or staged, quite rightly received mostly positive reviews.